Hey, good morning, folks. AJ, the CEO here, and it is 6:45 a.m., and we're getting ready to start install number 20. I know we skipped a number, but we've been doing a bunch of other installs that I just never recorded. That was actually multiple things in Mount Tabor, Abundant Life, and all this other stuff. But this is a quote unquote major install in comparison. This is actually Shiloh Baptist Church down here in Petersburg, Virginia, where we actually met with them 4 years ago, and gave them kind of a plan of some stuff. And, obviously life be lifing. And they called me 2 weeks ago and said that they're ready to move forward. So this is what we're going to be doing to help integrate and get their stuff up to speed. So let me give you a quick design and a reminder for me as well, too, of what we're getting ready to do. All right. So let's do Shiloh Baptist Church. All right, so they have a couple of camcorders that they want to replace. Well, they have a camcorder they're going to replace, and they have video distribution. So let's go ahead and show what they got. They have two projectors inside the sanctuary right now. Actually, let me take that back. I had it backwards. I had to remember what they had. They have a projector in the fellowship hall, and they have two televisions inside the sanctuary. Right? And they have a computer. And right now, the way this was working, and, of course, obviously they have a audio mixer. And the way this is working, they have that camera connected through a cam link. So that is connected directly to the computer. Then the audio is coming into the computer. And then they have outputs from here going into, some of them are VGA. They're actually outputting into a HDMI to Ethernet extender. So HDMI to Cat6 extender. And that outputs from that same computer. And then those converters are on each one of the TVs. And there was some type of connection, excuse me, doing the same thing back here to the projector. So that's their setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to gut a lot of this stuff. So first, let's get rid of that, and that, and this, and this, and this, and this. All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're putting in an ATEM Mini Extreme. We're going to put that there. We're going to feed the audio from that mixer into the ATEM. And we're going to be installing two PTZs, one in the front and one in the back. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So we have fiber optic HDMIs. That's going to connect to the ATEM for the front and the back. We're going to connect the computer to the ATEM as well too. And for the video out, we're going to do a 1x8 HDMI splitter. That's going to come out here. And we're going to be running fiber optic HDMI cables to replace the one, that extender that are going to the TVs. So that'll be fiber HDMI. And for this long run, because that's going to go in the ceiling and everything like that, we're actually going to do an output from the HDMI splitter because it is going to get video and audio. We're going to output to that. And this is going to be an HDMI to SDI converter. We will run a SDI cable in the ceiling. And we're actually going to do a bunch of jumps here. So let me actually put this back over here. So we'll run that SDI to here, and then they'll convert it back, SDI to HDMI. And because they also have another sound system inside the fellowship hall, we actually have, and I've used this before, we have an audio extractor. So what's going to happen is we'll send that HDMI feed into this. It has an HDMI loop out that will go to the projector to give them an image, but the audio will be extracted instead of having to run a separate cable. That will pull the audio. We plug that into the audio mixer, and now that's how we'll have sound. So looks like a lot, but it really isn't. And then I didn't include the joystick. So that's going to be here. We also have a PoE switch that's going to power all of this fun stuff. So we got that. That's going to go to the camera in the front, one in the back, and now my cabling is starting to get messy. Joystick, and might as well hook that same connection out to the ATEM. And I don't know, I think all the monitors they had were 4:3, so aspect ratio. So I don't know if this will work their display, so they might have to get another monitor for that. But we will have that extra output on the ATEM will give them a multi-view so they can see everything. Got to see how that's going to be connected, and I don't know why I made that so big. So we output that for the multi-view. Again, that was not included because they said they were good with the monitors. If the monitor doesn't support it, obviously I will bring that up that they need to get something like that. So that's pretty much it. I have everything in. Worst case scenario, I think I might have to run to Target or somewhere local and get an extra audio cable here. And I think a possible monitor. So those are the two outstanding issues that I believe. The main thing is going to be running the cable to the projector, the front camera, and then everything else should be fairly straightforward. So the interesting thing is actually I'm starting that install today. So I just woke up early. I was like, why don't I just do this part? And then the car is already packed. They said they're going to meet me at the church at 9 o'clock. And thankfully, that is about like a 15-minute drive, if not less, for me from where I'm at right now. So let me go get cleaned up, showered up, eat some breakfast, and then we'll see you there at Shiloh Baptist Church. Alrighty, take two. I was talking for about 8 minutes and didn't realize that the camera wasn't recording. Anyway, we're here at Shiloh, and like I said, we have the TVs here that we're going to be replacing the HDMI to Ethernet extenders. They're going to be fiber optic HDMIs that go here. Now, one thing in my rush I forgot about, this is the front camera. We're going to take that down and we're going to put a PTZ in, just like we did at Community Christian Church in North Carolina. We're going to do the ceiling mount here and face the camera this way or this way, so that way it can turn and be able to see the baptism, but then it can still turn and be a front-facing camera here. Ethernet and and fiber optic HDMI for that camera goes all the way into the back. Now also, one of the cables for the TV was damaged, so I had to return that, and I have another install for another church next week. So in my rush, I forgot to grab that extra cable from the boxes and supplies for that install and grabbed it, because the replacement, I'm going to use that to replace the one that's for the install that I'm doing next week. So, and I changed out the PTZ mounting that I have in my office. So the ceiling mount that I took down is what will go here. And I have to go home and grab that. Probably got to go to Target or something, because I didn't see them at Lowe's when I went there this morning to get some supplies. I need to get some RCA to 3.5 millimeter cables so I can pull audio from the sound system as well as the one in the back. But again, I'm only 10 miles away from home, so not a long trek at all. And actually all the stores are closer to even getting home. That's the old camera. I've already disconnected the HDMI cable, and it looks like they were pulling audio from this. Like I said, we're going to be pulling audio directly from the board. Take those mounts out, get rid of those cables, maybe possibly use them as a pull string if they're coming over here. Move the clock up. Camera's going to go right above the exit sign. Here in the media booth area, we have some limited space. This monitor is not hooked up. I do not believe this is going to be able to give a multi-view, so I might also have to get another monitor for them that's 1080p. That'll be the multi-view. Put the ATEM and the joystick right here, because I know we're limited on the space. I have a 2U rack that I used to have at my rental place that I'm not using. I might bring that and mount that here and put the PoE switch here, or there's some space right here that I'll put the PoE switch here, and I have a brushed panel here. That way I can run the Ethernet cables and connect to the PoE switch here. Like I said, we'll pull audio from here. I mean, they do have an aux out. I could possibly use that and give them a separate mix, so it'll be completely independent, because right now, if you do record out, that's going to be the same thing as the house. That might be a good stand-in until I get them where they need to be. Because again, originally they're using this Camlink, this Elgato, HD60S. So this is what's going to go away. And this has HDMI out, so I may be able to feed this into the ATEM as well too. Probably clean out some space, have the ATEM go right here, joystick right here, PoE switch right there. These are the runs for everything. This looks like this might be the main internet just coming back here. But that's what we got. So we got a lot of stuff to go through, but let me take you in the back, because we also gonna have an HDMI splitter back there that's going to feed everything, and then we're going to convert it and run an SDI cable in the back because of the run. Could I have gone with a 300-foot fiber optic HDMI cable? I could have. I've used that once. But again, I don't know, since we're going to be jumping in between multiple attics, I just don't know what it looks like up there. So this is the attic that's going to take me back to this wall and then to the sanctuary. But everything past here, it is a new ceiling. And I was wrong in my drawing. It's actually 2 projectors that are here. That's in the audio over there. The cables going to the projectors are fine. We're going to run the SDI cable back here. And this is the entry to get upstairs. And it's cold. This will be in the new part. Fish the cable over here. Fish that SDI. It's over here. I hope they left this unlocked. Yes. And feed that into here. And we need an audio in. So we'll probably do a track in here. That will bring the audio that we split from the SDI here. And then In the back, is that still unlocked? Where's that handle for that? Oh, there it goes. Back here, see, they already have a splitter that's going to the projector, so the SDI converter would live here. We split out the audio, run the new source into this, and I have no idea what that in is going into. It's just looped around here. Oh, it won't go into nothing. So we can disconnect this because this is just a extra long cable. Hold on. That out of here. Like I said, see if we can fish it through here since there's already a path. Bring that SDI into here. The converter will convert it back to HDMI. HDMI audio extractor with a pass-through goes here. Audio comes into here. And this is the type of cable I thought I was going to need. That's just a 3.5 to 3.5. But anyway, that is the plan. So let's get everything unpacked. Let's go ahead and hook up the ATEM. The PoE switch, just set it in that rack for right now and get everything in place. And I may just leave out right now since the stores are open, because it's like 9:15 right now. So everything open up at 9. Maybe go back. And I actually have a monitor. I wonder if it'll be easier for me just to give them a boxed monitor that I have that I know works instead of buying one for right now. I might do that because I got to go home anyway to get the ceiling mount, that extra HDMI cable, and then on my way back I look for those RCA to 3.5, and if the monitor doesn't work, we can always just buy another one. So yeah, anyway, let me clean out some space, start setting up the stuff that I know I can, get the computer. I downloaded the ATEM software and I am not getting a monitor out. Well, actually, here's one of the cables right here that I need. So yay, that's one. But let me see, I'm not getting anything on any computer. But anyway, let me clean out some space, start setting this stuff up, and then we will go from there. Alrighty, so we got the race car. Oh. So we got everything cleaned out for right now. I just want to make sure it's easy to put everything in place that needs to go. We didn't throw nothing away unless it was like trash and empty plastic wrap or something like that. But let's get the hymn books out of the way, and then we're going to start bringing in all the new stuff. And like I said, we're going to set up the ATEM, the PoE switch, the joystick. I have my laptop, so I need to plug in to wherever internet is, which is right here, and we'll fix this cable because that cable is heavily damaged. And he had the same thing I did. You see that? Where the pin got pulled up. But we will re-terminate this cable. Let's see, I think this is this the cable? No, that's a firewire cable. Definitely not going to need that. That's the volume control for the back. Doing away with that. I'm trying to find the Ethernet cable I just had. This is the audio cable, RCA audio cable. I'm not going to be using that. Here it is. And this was this cable that's going up here in the ceiling. So we will re-terminate this. And for right now, this is going to be the source that goes into the PoE switch. We'll run another cable to go into the computer and to everything else. So we got 2 cameras, a computer, a joystick, that's 4. So more than enough because it's an 8-port PoE switch that I got on. So anyway, now let's start the work. Alrighty, so we got the PoE switch, computer is lit up, got a signal, ran 2 cables, one for the ATEM, the other joystick, and we still got to run 2 more, which is going to be for the camera that's going to be right here, and then the one that's in the front. So what I'm going to do is, they got a bunch of tripods, but I'm going to, let's go ahead and actually mount. Take all that stuff down, run the cables for the PTZ, mount the PTZ, run an Ethernet cable for that, make sure that's powered up, break out my laptop, and we get that configured, the joystick configured, because I also need to find out what the IP address range is so that I can set the joystick and the cameras for everything, and then also just do a test. Now, I did download the version 10 ATEM software, but there's a password on the computer, so I can't get in there to install that. I'll probably send a text here in a little bit once I have a slower moment, so I can log in and get that installed. But if I get one signal for that, that'll be good. Also, it looks like there's a VGA distribution box in that rack, so I need to take that out, so that would give me more space for when I need to hang that. Mount the other stuff inside the rack. And let's see, just from the back of here, see, that looks like a VGA cable that is going there to the back of the TV. So because that cable is so big, unless they were secured in the ceiling, I could possibly cut that cable and use that as a pull string to pull the HDMI cable back through there. I might push the cable up and then pop a towel first to see how that is, because last thing I need is to have another damaged HDMI cable and then I got a next day one. But anyway, let's move the ladder. Let's get that PTZ mounted, and I guess I need a monitor first so I can actually see anything. Well, no, I can hook up the ATEM to USB so I can see what the feed is. And it also looks like I might need to get another surge protector to plug everything in so that everything is turned on and is protected. Might do that too. But anyway, let's go to mounting a camera. Alright folks, we got the joystick, the ATEM powered on, got my laptop connected to the ATEM. We're getting the feed from the camera that we installed. The IP address range, it looks like they're with Comcast because the IP address is it's 10.1.10 something, and that's typically what Comcast Business and their routers do. So I have set the joystick to a static IP of 40, and then we'll start building off of the cameras the same way. So this will be 41 and then 42 for the next one. And duh, AJ, you're not going to be able to read anything because you are not on the network. Alright, let's get our connection real quick. Alright, now let's search. And there we go. So we're going to modify this. Like I said, we're going to modify this to static. Set the IP address to 41. Granted, I do need to search to make sure that is available. And set the DNS to the router. Because sometimes if you have it going to an outside IP address and there's no internet, it hangs. So that's why I get rid of that. Let's refresh it. There's the IP. Let's add it. And that would be admin, or it might be admin 123, but it's not. And there we go. So now, let's log into the camera. Now this login is the admin123. So admin, then admin 123. This is where we're going to flip the camera, mirror, and flip. And now we're in a final position. So yay. That is right. We already had the network set up because we just did that through the interface. And there you go. As you can see, that's set. This camera does support NDI, so we'll leave that on. We're just checking to make sure the protocols are there. Alright. Tally light. Change that to red. No, we'll leave it at green. And this part is set up. So now all I gotta do is, and I left the ceiling open because we're gonna pull another Ethernet, start pulling the SDI cable, as well as the fiber optic HDMI for the camera that's gonna go in the front. And we still need to pull another 2 cables for the TVs. So we actually got 5 cables. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back home. And I need to bring my monitor, bring the extra cable that's gonna go to the TV. And I had just got some ears because I have 2 of these at home. So I need to bring the extra ears that are on my desk so that I can mount the pass-through that will go right above that, so that these cables will be nice and neat and tucked away. I have a 15-foot HDMI cable, so that will be the one that will go to this monitor or to the computer. I'll do it for the monitor right now because I mean it doesn't look like the computer's even hooked up to anything. I don't know if it's displaying anything. It's possible because they have this and that's going there. We'll look into that. I think that's it for right now. What I could do is actually go in the ceiling and pull the SDI cable in this direction, so that way I can do and mount everything in the box for the audio down there. And because literally it's just running the cable there and getting it in place, and then I gotta fish all the cables back this way. But I need to have something set up because I can't see anything without a monitor hooked up. So like I said, I'm probably gonna go home, grab that stuff, be back, and maybe we'll be able to knock all this out in one day. All depends. And we're going to stop at the store to get another cable, because what I'm going to do is go ahead and hook up the audio to the board right now. And then we can go from there. All right, I said I was going to leave, but I didn't. I ended up getting all of the existing cables that I have ran, except for the other one that I got to do when I pull from the TV in the front. So I got everything here. I actually connected the cables and just tested. This is the front camera that I have sitting on the podium up there. So that's working. I have the cable that's going to this TV that is right here. I just don't have an open electrical plug to plug in the HDMI splitter, but what we'll do is I'm just going to hook this directly into the out for right now. Make sure that the TVs work with the signal, which should be by default 1080p 24, but we are going to crank that up to 60. Actually, let's do that now. Oh, it actually defaulted to 5994. Anyway, we set that at 60. Quick little update. All right, and there we go. Now I just need to move my the ladder back, and we'll get an image. And it sounds like somebody opened the door, but let me grab my phones, because like I said, I'm gonna go take a slight little lunch break, and then we will come back with the stuff, pull one more cable for the TV, that TV, climb back up, pull the SDI cable in the rear, because I already have all that stuff hooked up in the rack. Actually need to get a surge protector because everything in that rack is not plugged in. But let me go pull the ladder, plug this in, and I can close up at least these tiles. And all of that came down when I did this, so we'll put that back up. But let me move the ladder and let's get an image. Alrighty, so we got an image. Yay. Got to turn the volume down as well too. Volume was turned up, so now that it's coming through the system, we definitely don't want sound coming from the TV. So we know that works, and that's the same TV as over there. So when we pull the other cable for the TV, this part is done. We'll do the SDI. Well, let me show you back here, because we're going to make a little trip, and then we'll be back. Now honestly, see, if I had a fiber optic HDMI cable went all the way here, wouldn't have to worry about this. But what we got is the SDI converter. Signal is going to come in here. This cable goes out, then it goes into the audio extractor, then the HDMI out goes into the splitter that goes to the projectors. But here we have the audio out that is now going into tape in, and it actually did include the cable, so I don't have to worry about buying any other cables, and that's done. Now the other thing is, there's no surge protector or anything back here, so there's no plugs to plug in anything, and everything is staying on. So we're going to actually undo all of that and put a surge on here. I do have mine that I can put here, so it'll be a master on and off. I might do that and then just order myself another one, at least to get them straight, and then that way this stuff will be protected. Boom, hit the on switch here, and then that's it. I just need to make sure I got some screws that I can screw that in. Sometimes they normally have extras back here. Actually, I was going to say this is the cable I was going to use, looking for or ordering. So there are no extra screws. So I might have to just take, well, no. I can take these two out and that'll be enough to hold the switch in place. So I'll do that without tripping over a chair. And then the beauty of this is once I extend that cable, I could split it if need be. Actually, no, I can't because I only have 3 BNC couplers. So one at the source, make that one continuous run, terminate it back here, get it down here some way, and this should be flipped the other way to make the cables come out. Maybe I'll unplug that and flip it so it's easier for the cables to come down and push it through than down and then up to get the cable. But the ears for the PoE switch, pass-through plate, shelf, because I have a bunch of shelves left. Since I was able to get rid of that VGA distribution, I'll put a shelf. The HDMI splitter will go there. I should have enough plugs in that master surge that's in that rack to plug everything in. What else am I forgetting? My surge, 1U surge, I gotta order one to replace what I'm getting. Or maybe we can just go ahead and order the unified one. I need to do that at the same time. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to order while I'm driving, but let's secure up everything. We only got 2 more cables to run and then a bunch of cleanup, and that's it. I mean, and I need the ceiling mount for the camera so that I can get that done. So let's head back home, grab a few things, and then we'll be back to finish up this 1-day modernization of Shiloh Baptist Church. 2 camera install, video distribution, and PTZ, ATEM, all that other fun stuff. So like I said, we'll be back. Get some lunch at the same time too. Alright folks, we are back from our little lunch break and little trip. Got the other monitor I was talking about set up. So boom, got my long HDMI cable. We also got the shelf, the ears that I have mounted here, and the pass-through kind of brushed plate to hide the cables. So we got that done. We got the HDMI to SDI converter on the rack. Got that plugged into the HDMI splitter. All I got to do now is, because I dropped the cables here, I need to get back up and pass them through the hole right there. Also brought the other cable as well as the mount. So what I'm going to do while I'm here in the front, that is, we're going to go ahead and mount the camera, take down the old one, put the new mount up. The cables that are already there, just fish them down 2 tiles, boom. Have the other HDMI cable, run this back to here, then the TVs will be done. Then climb back up on the other side, pull the SDI cable all the way through into the fellowship hall. I actually had another piece of conduit left over from the cables that are in my closet, that I had the original panel where they had the wires in my home that I redid and fished through the wall where I showed in this video. I actually have a conduit that's right above the top of the closet door where the cables are going to go in. Haven't put them in there yet, but I cut the conduit and I had one extra piece. That's what I'm going to put back there to hide the cables there. But let's go ahead and get the ladder over there, pull that camera down, put this up, put the other one, get the cables. And then before I push this tile up, find how to get the hole in there to get the cable, the RG6 back there. Once I do that, this cable, all that fun stuff, and then we should be done. Hopefully. So we got the camera up, got a good angle of the baptism, also the front. We got that cable ran, but we need to give some space and pull enough cable so we can get all the way back with the RG6, then also run this cable. So I'm gonna try and do the easy stuff right now. I found a shorter HDMI cable so that I can remove the need of having such a long cable inside the rack. Hook up this master switch, get everything plugged in, and then on my way back, we would go back up in the attic, pull that down, see what everything looks like, see if I can walk over and pull the cable up, and then also maybe do the front HDMI cable at the same time, and tidy up everything, and then we are done, folks. Alrighty, we got that there, got everything plugged in, so nothing's going to get power until the main switch in the front is turned on. So if we do that, and there we go, everything is on, and there's no reason for that audio to be that high. And then we got our tape in, and where is that? We got to play around with which one is going to control that, but everything is powered on. We got power here, we got power here, so we're literally just waiting for an SDI cable to go here. So what I'm probably going to do is just run enough cable so that I can almost come all the way back here and back, so that I'll have enough, and then I can always shorten it, and then we'll be good to go. So let me find the restroom. I'm gonna do that, then I'll pull the cable up, get this done, turn on the projectors, test those, make sure they get a signal, do the last cable, which is the TV on the right, and put everything in their final location in the tile. Put the tiles back, put the insulation back. Well, put the insulation back, then put the tiles back, and then we can call this one install 20 of 50 complete. So let me go find a restroom. Alrighty, folks, it has been a long day. We've been here since 9. It's going almost 6 o'clock, but we got everything done. Some things did pop up, but let me show you what we've done here to transform Shiloh Baptist Church. Alrighty, starting in the media room, we got PTZ Joystick, ATEM Mini Extreme. We got our sound going out into the board. System hooked up. Need to get a longer HDMI cable because they were using VGA, but I used my longer one to connect to our multi-view. So gonna use the HDMI out or the DVI out to run into input number 3. So that would be for presenter, because it looks like they're using that. We have 2 PTZs, LV20Ns. Those are by Avkans. Both of them are auto tracking 20x NDI cameras. We got PoE switch, HDMI, splitter, HDMI to SDI converter running up into the ceiling, and coming out here, like I said, we got our conduit up there. We got our camera here, number 1. Coming down here, we got our 2 displays, TVs, Hisense screens that they already had. Changed the cabling there, fiber optic HDMI going to both of them, running off of the HDMI splitter. We have our front camera that's put to the side, so that way we can turn it. Well, they can turn it, and it can be for the baptism or for a front-facing shot. Now coming out here into the back, we have a feed going into the fellowship hall. That's the SDI cable that we ran and converted it back, going out into 2 projectors. We got one here and we got another one right here. Now this is the problem found out. obviously this is working. The cable going to this projector is bad. So most likely, I think I have another cable at home. Told them about it. Probably come here in the morning and swap out that cable. And then both of them will be working. We have our switch back here that will turn everything on and off. SDI and everything is in the back. Audio being pulled off of the HDMI audio extractor. So turning on track 2. That would everything go through. Now I don't have any sound to play, but since we're going to be back tomorrow, I'm going to officially test everything once everything is in its final position. I thought I was going to do a little bit of training, but that doesn't seem to be a case. So I have to shut everything down. And like I said, I will be here tomorrow, but now that turns everything off. So yay, that's good. And why is that? There it goes. And projectors will turn off after no signal. So, very productive day. Got to get through all of that in one day. Like I said, if it wasn't for the projector cable being a problem, we would actually be done completely. But like I said, I will be back tomorrow morning just to switch out that cable. Personally, if I switched out that cable, I almost want to switch out both of them, but I don't have enough to do that. I do have one extra. Well, actually, no, I have 2 extras, I believe. But I think that's like 164 foot, and that's way too much just to have that in the ceiling somewhere. But Shiloh Baptist Church, thank you so much. Like I said, I came and talked to them in 2021, and they've been watching videos, put a lot of stuff in place, but then they were like, all right, well, we're going to just hire him to come and do it. So I appreciate that. The same way, we will turn, they already had this in place, so that turns off everything, and we are good to go. So let me just put my hacksaw back in the car, and we are done. I'll be here tomorrow just to change out that cable, and need to hear back from them if we're going to do any training with them. It looks like they were using OBS, so tomorrow when I'm back, I will connect out, change out the stuff in OBS, but technically their internet speed is fast enough. They could do everything directly from the ATEM, but I'm gonna leave that up to them. Let me make sure I got everything, because when I close that door, I am locked out. So let me make sure I got everything I need, and then that's about it. But no, folks, if you ever need some help with your ministry, your media ministry, your AV, your networking, your security, cameras, door access, know that you can reach out to me at questions@ajhomes.com, or if you want to set up a consultation, go to ajhomes.com/consultations. We do phone, Zoom, Google Meet, we travel, we do on-sites, all that good stuff. Looks like we're going to be going to Georgia coming up soon. Next month we're going to be back in Chicago, and we got some other stuff. We're supposed to be going to New Jersey as well too. So folks, we travel, we're here to help out as much as we can. Media ministry, share the message like never before. And I think that's about it, folks. So if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ. Catch you on the next video. Later.